Welcome back to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. Have your say, 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736. Brian, Dragons fans, get ready. It's a new dawn, and I'm pleased to say, joining the Run Home with Joel and Fletch, the great Shane Flanagan. G'day, Flano.
G'day, boys. How are we?
Well, more importantly, how are you? How's things going down south there?
Well, we're not actually south. We're up the north coast. We're up at Terrigal. We're in a camp all week, so it's very, very good, to be honest.
The Skillion Hill, have you found that yet?
We have found that, but went up yesterday morning and won't be going back up again.
Nah. Have you met a bloke called Bob the Boss? Is he floating around near you?
Bob the Boss has been the star of the scene. He's been a very good host.
Excellent.
Flano, what's the what goes on in these pre-season camps? Is it all about just getting flogged? Is that the whole idea of it?
Not really this week, Fletch. We sort of, we've been back, obviously after Christmas, and we just thought it was a good week to get away before the trials start, and have a bit of connection. Some players mix with other groups, and go to breakfast, have some lunch, and train really hard. So they've had some big days. They, 3 sessions per day. Today we just got more of a planning day, so some big days, and just a bit of time to connect and be around each other, play some cards, and go for a swim and all that sort of stuff. So a really good week.
Flano, as a player, you started your career at the Mighty Dragons, just the St George Dragons back in those days before the merger. How would you say your pre-season back in those days compares to what happens today?
Oh, they're completely different. Mate, we used to train Tuesday, Thursday, and a barbecue and some beers on Saturday. So it's completely different. We were working back then. I was, as Fletch knows, an apprentice plumber. These days it's full on. They're, as I said, 2 or 3 sessions a day. They get a couple of days off a week if they're lucky, and they're just full-time professional athletes, and and they've got to be football players as well.
Flano, I've asked Sticky this question before. Obviously, he's been coaching for 20-odd years, and this generation of players have changed. And I said, you've had to change the way I'm talking about Sticky, the way you coach. Mm-hmm. And have you found I suppose because you've still been in the game, but have you found it is a totally different generation of players? I mean, the way they respond to criticism and stuff like that.
Yeah, without a doubt, Fletch. The way you approach players, the way they learn, the way you got to obviously assess how they learn. Obviously, the age of mobile phones and technology. Back then we used to have the video, VHS video, and fast forward and back. These days you can pick up passes left to right, tackles made on your left shoulder, kick-off. So any sort of action that you want to see, you can get up on your computer within a couple of minutes. And those players have been brought up in that generation. And, then that's the other bit, how they react to criticism, how you speak to players. It's just changed, and obviously, I started with Sticky and, some of, I'm not speaking from Sticky's behalf, but even when I was younger as a coach, the way I spoke to players and treated players is completely different than it is now. You just wouldn't cut it. You wouldn't have a job.
Do you think you wouldn't have a job because the players would be off you, or do you think I suppose not a HR department, but would people come in and say, you're not allowed to speak to people, you can't speak to players like that? Or that's what I'm just trying to work out.
I think everything, I think everything has just changed, Fletch. I think, the way a lot of workplaces were 20, 25 years ago have changed. And, the players of today, they train really hard, and, they've got to be treated in the right way. We've got, the Players Association, how much contact we do, how much wrestle we do, and how much we expect of players. It's a tough job. Everyone thinks it's being an NRL players on this, get paid heaps of money and up in the stars, but it's not. It's a tough job. Yeah, they get paid well, but it's a short career and they've got to make the most of it. And it's definitely changed, and we've had to, obviously, me and Sticky and a lot of other coaches have had to change along the way because. As I said, when I started, it was VHS videos and all that sort of stuff. Now it's a new technology. We have drones, watch our training. We have video analysis. We have GPS. We can tell how fast you run, how many meters you run, change your direction. There's so many different things come into it now.
Non-rugby league coach, is there someone you look up to, Flano?
Non-rugby league coach, that's a good question, mate. I look up to a few people, obviously, but a a lot of them have been involved in rugby league. Sort of a mentor for mine. He's not with us anymore. Was Ron Massey. He was a real smart footy player. He was footy coach. He was involved with Jack Gibson and all that. And then later on in life, he was just really good sounding board for me. So just recently my dad passed, so that was I always went to him with a bit of advice if I needed to get a reality check, or was I doing things right, or should I look at something different. He was always one to go and bounce things off.
No, I know that's pretty raw too, Flano. And thoughts of you with yourself and the family there. Dragons fans, we are talking to your coach in George Illawarra, Shane Flanagan, terrific fellow. And I'll take you back to 2011. You'd had a few games at the back end of 2010, but your first assignment as a head coach really in full was 2011. Now, the side was coming off having finished second or third last, so it's a very familiar assignment similar assignment, Flano, to what you have now. Do you see a similar challenge? And what you were able to do at the Sharks within 5 years, won a premiership, but more importantly, within 2 years, you made the club a very regular attendee when it comes to finals. Does it feel like a little bit of deja vu, so to speak?
Yeah, it does. And I hope I can do the same sort of stuff that we did at the Sharks. I think this team, the group of players I've got here, are well in advance of that group that I had at the Sharks. I just think they've underperformed. There's some really good players here, some really young talent, some elite young talent, and as a club we've underperformed. And our best player to our player number 30 have all realised that, and we've had a really good look in the mirror over November, December, January, and they all know that they've underperformed, and I just think we're way ahead of that team that I had in 2011, and we'll get to where we need to do a lot quicker.
He once had a bill that overperformed Fletch. I saw Flano at a Thai restaurant. He was there with a few allies. The big man might have been one of those, and they had asked for the bill. So I went around and
Joel loves this one.
So I snuck up to the owners of the shop. I said, "How much is that bill?" They were thinking I was going to pay for it. Right? They said, "Oh, it's 165." I said, "Can you make it 285?" So the bill comes out, and I'm hiding behind, stealthily looking, and they're all questioning the bill, and Flano's blowing up. It was magnificent stuff. Flano, you remember that night?
Yeah, I do remember. That was one of your best. You're not a funny person.
No.
But you mustn't have been too drunk then, Flano, because usually when you get blind, you don't really mind looking at the bill. Flano, I want to ask you about young.
No, I usually ask the missus how much was that, because she usually goes and pays, and she said 265, and I nearly fell off my chair.
Was Broman with you?
He would have paid if he was with me. So, no, if he was with me, it probably would have been 265.
That's right. That's what I was thinking.
That's right.
Hey, Flano, what about young Cody Ramsey? How's his recovery? Do you think you'll see him play this year?
No, we won't see him play this year, Fletch. He's had a real battle with his illness, and then post-illness, he just seems to be getting on top of it and get some infections, and he's been in and out of hospital a lot of time, lost a lot of weight. I'd have to say he's a lot better now. He just recently had a young baby, which is great. Him and his partner, and obviously the focus for him now is obviously look after his young family and just get back to normal health. Football is probably a little bit of a long way down the track, and if we can just get him 12 months out of hospital and looking after himself, put some weight on him, there's a chance he can come back and play rugby league. But at this stage, it's not a priority for him or the club.
Is there a priority on this new rule, this short kick-off rule, the short restarts? It makes you think, that's for sure, but where have you landed with that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, boys. I just think it's obviously it's a skill to be able to execute the kick and get it in the right spot, and then there's some other skills to bring it down and make sure that you get the kick-off reception or the dropout reception that you just earned. If your trap side's in the in goal, you'd like to think that you get the ball back, but these days you don't. You're not guaranteed of anything. So it's a real art. I'm really interested in the other rule as well, that the downtown rule. Obviously you can't go before the kicker has kicked it. So, the blockers and blokes sort of taking a little bit of a head start. I think that's a big one. I think we're going to see a lot of penalties from, just middle forwards. Once they've played the ball, they head downtown, and dummy halves, they pass the ball and head downtown, and some middle forwards, blockers, they just block, and then as soon as the ball's gone past them, they head downtown, and you can't do that anymore. So there's going to be some penalties there because of bad habits sides have got themselves into, and the dropout and the kickoff, the short kickoff, has always been a skill, as I said. But now, our side's just happy to play the ball 10 metres out from their try line and 10 from the touch line, and just say, well, do your best. I'm not quite sure how it's going to unfold. And I think every side will have probably, it'll be related around their skill set of their team. Have they got a really good kicker that can nail it, and some tall timbers up? Like if you look at the Roosters, they've got some tall timbers up the front. They should be able to bring a lot of those balls down if they get the kick in the right spot. So I think it's going to be game planned about, what sort of talent was in the team and skill set within the team that you're playing against.
I forgot about that rule, the downtown rule.
Yeah.
Hasn't that always been around though, Flano?
It has, but it's never been policed. It's never really, been policed. The middle forwards just sort of head downtown. But now, even the dummy half, we've had referees come to training that, if they pass the ball, they have to wait to the kicker before they proceed downtown, go down the field. So it's definitely going to be a change of mindset for a lot of, especially middle forwards and dummy halves, that you just can't, once the ball's played, you've got to wait for him to kick it rather than just not wait till he plays the ball.
So you can still be in front of the kicker, but you can't move forward until he's actually kicked the ball.
Correct. So you'd never ever get in kick chase, Fletch.
No. Well, I had Rico and Fitzy. I said, go on, boys, run down. I just hang out with Jack.
Your strength is ball playing, Fletch, wasn't it?
Well, sitting on the bench, coming off the bench, and just or Mad Mondays. I was very good at that too. Hey, Flano, how's the young bloke fitted in? How's Kyle fitted in?
Yeah, he's going good. He's put on a bit of size, he's up around, trying to push him to about 90 kilos if he can get there. He's about 87, 88 at the moment. I think he's worked really well with Ben Hunt, taking a lot of pressure off. The halves that Ben's played with have been sort of younger blokes that have been a bit more instinctive and haven't had, their quality hasn't been organisation, where Kyle's probably biggest strength is organisation, and he takes that off. Ben doesn't have to get the ball all the time now. I think in previous years, especially say like on last plays, like if I'm coaching against the Dragons, I'd just say, where's Ben Hunt? Because that's where it's probably going to go to. Well, now it's not going to be that, and we've got a bit more take the pressure off Ben, that he's not the key, organiser, last play specialist, the person that's got to make the breaks, set up the plays. You just go and do your job, Ben, and Kyle's taking a lot of pressure off him. So I think it's been good for Ben and definitely good for Kyle. We bought him in as a utility, that 14. I think he'll transition into 9 over a period of time. But, since what happened with young Amone, we're going to have to kick that down the road a little bit, and he'll just have to do his job, which he's quite happy to do, and I'm quite happy for him to do it at 6.
I was going to ask that. When he went, I saw him playing a little bit of 9 for the Dogs. I saw that one game in reserve grade when I think he got 4. Did he get 4 or 5?
5.
5, yeah. He got 5 meaties. How did he... Did he like it? Because sometimes you don't really... It's a bit like Phoenix Crossland when he was always a half growing up, and all of a sudden they threw him in at 9. He just went, oh, hang on, I don't mind this.
Billy Walters?
Yeah, Billy Walters. Did Kyle enjoy it?
Well, exactly. The Phoenix Crossland one's a good one because, I use that as a conversation thing for Kyle, that, Phoenix wasn't killing it in the halves, but, geez, he made a good job at 9 once he sort of adapted to it. And Kyle wasn't totally against it, but he was sort of like, I think young halves, if you get moved to 9, they sort of say, well, have I failed? That's my, I've been a half most of my career, and the coach is telling me I'm not good enough anymore. So that's probably the bit you just got to get over. But, in the modern day, I think, if you're playing first grade, who cares where it is, as long as you're in the team or making an impact for the team and the club. And he got over it the 5 tries helps. And then he played 80 minutes, his first grade game at hooker that he's ever played. At NRL level, he played 80 minutes against the Panthers, and I thought he did a good job there. And over a period of time, he got a little bit more comfortable with it and started to think about what he needs to do as a hooker. But as I said, we'll kick it down the road a little bit. It might be next year or the year after that we have to do that.
And the good news, Fletch, I've got a couple of kilos I could give him. So
no, you're looking good. You're looking good. He's on the meat diet.
Yeah,
Flano. I've just got him eating meat.
We're mad.
No carbs.
We're mad fad heads here.
I'll tell you what's really good.
I know that.
We love a fad. I bought this thing off a website of Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's hydrogen
water.
Website,
Instagram.
Here we go.
No, you click on Instagram and you go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Because Joe Rogan's obviously promoting it, so I fell into it.
No, they have these algorithms, and they work out who the suckers are, and you're now getting bombarded, Brian, because they know
not a sucker.
You're a buyer. You're a buyer.
You know what I like to do? I like experimenting.
Yeah.
So there's some things out there. Well, what did I do for you?
Well, sell it to him.
The cold bath.
Yeah, that's true.
The ice bath.
Yeah.
I threw that into him. What else? The fasting.
Yes.
You feel good on that. The hydrogen water. So obviously there is hydrogen in water currently. There's not enough. There's not enough to get into your organs or your brain. So this is a little contraption I've got. I plug it on while I'm watching MAFS. Do you watch MAFS, Flano, by the way?
I'm not really into massive misses.
Well, there's a big twist.
I like the dinner party. I like it.
Yes. Well, there's a big twist coming.
They're all Schindlers at 3 a.m.
There's a big
but how
twist
would I know
coming.
there's a dinner party if I don't watch it?
Well, there you go. Yeah, you need more hydrogen water. What I want you to do, Flano, I want you to go onto a website, find hydrogen water, test it out yourself, see how good you feel, and then slowly just creep it into the Gatorade bottles, and just the players won't notice. You watch the improvement in the stamina. Thoughts?
Can't wait, Fletch.
All right.
No, it'll be interesting.
Just try it. Just try it.
Yeah, I will.
You're not
Now,
I definitely will.
Now, the younger types, Flano, they are all frothing for the Super Bowl and the NFL. Will you give them the day off to watch that?
Yeah, they do love it. Is it next Monday?
Next Monday, correct.
Yes, no, we're training, so they won't get the day off.
No, let them
Bad
watch a replay.
Bad luck, Chuck. Yeah.
Are they into the
they
NFL?
can watch it.
I don't remember. Do you?
Yeah, a lot of our boys are. Yeah, they're into the fantasy and all that sort of stuff of it. They talk about it a fair bit. They play a little bit at warm up at training. They do love it. But they won't be getting a day off on Monday.
No,
rats ass.
Flano, are they drinking? Are they going out on the piss much? These players, because it's been a very quiet.
No, they don't, mate.
Yeah.
No, they don't. As I said, I've got a good crew. I'm not saying that they don't or won't, but I've got a pretty good crew. And, I went through the same thing at the Sharks. I went through there was probably only 2 or 3 players married, and then as time went on, there was hardly any boys that weren't married and had young kids at the back end when 2016 type of thing. And we're at that sort of stage here at the Dragons now. A lot of our players are all married and got young children at the moment. We've got a heap of players that have just over the break had some young children and added to some others that have already got some. So a bit of a change of the dynamic in the group and the club, which I think is a good thing.
You got the Charity Shield coming up. You got the West Tigers at Mudgee later on. Now I've got to play for you, Flano.
Here we go.
I've got to play.
Flano,
This is worse than hydrogen water.
Yeah, drink the hydrogen water first.
Okay,
because then you'll come to your senses and you'll go, "Why am I listening to Joel Kane?"
Okay, before we get onto the play, Brian, because everyone's going to be up in the line defending the kick. There's opportunities to drill it to the sideline, so that's going to be an opportunity.
So you want a 40-20?
No, off the kickoffs and the restart.
Oh, gotcha.
Everyone's going to be overcompensating on the front line.
Right.
There's going to be opportunities hammering the sidelines. But anyway, I like to call this play big man down. Okay, Flano?
Yeah, you pick it up from the scrum.
Yeah. So what
Pass
happened?
it back into Benny Barber and he scores under the post.
That's right. But how the story went, Flano come up with this play, big man down. And they played it, they trialled it against someone, and it went so rank, it went so bad, and so they put it away. They shelved it.
Yep.
Grand final, Flano turns up to the captain's run. This play has been shelved for months. He says, boys, I've got a feeling, big man down. I go, no, we can't do that. He said, trust me, big man down. And first try in the grand final. Is that right, Flano?
Yeah, it is right. We actually did it a few times, but Gal wanted to do it every scrum, so we had to put it away because he couldn't get try assist, and it's the only way he was ever going to get a try assist. So we had to put it away for a while, and then we knew that Melbourne would break hard from scrums, and if we got a scrum in that field position, which how often does it happen? You need it exactly in that field position. We get it, and Gal did it. The problem is that on that, if you ever get to see it again, that we didn't tell Chad Townsend on the day because he's got loose lips, and he jumped out of the scrum and Chad didn't know anything about it and Gal nearly knocked him over. So, but yeah, it was a really important play in the end, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you have a dream about it, Flano, or was it Like, why in the grand final? You know, sometimes you're going into a big game and
Epiphany who?
An epiphany genders. And so,
Yeah, definitely.
was it something like you were
Definitely.
sitting at home and you went, oh, geez, we should do this?
No, you just like you watch so much video, and then you get into a game like that, and sometimes you just hope, and you say, well, I could have said that, if we get in this field position on, 20 or 30 other occasions, let's try this, and then we get into a grand final, and just something comes out. Sometimes if we get in this field position, let's try it, and as I said, we were so lucky to get in that field position and get it to come off. So sometimes those things come off, and you need a bit of luck, and you're exactly right. I probably did dream it one night that it was going to happen, and it come off for us.
And the thing in that game, so the most dangerous player almost his whole career, but certainly that year, Cameron Smith, they made him have 74 tackles. 74 tackles, Flano.
Yeah, well, it was a key for us, and we always had big games leading into that against Melbourne, and we had a bit of a theme that we would always attack their leaders, and we went after Cameron, we went after Cooper Cronk, and we went after Billy all the time. Like when we'd kick chase to Billy, we'd try and pull his jumper off over his head and rough him up a bit. And every time Wade Graham tormented Cooper Cronk for years, about inside pressure and so on. And then we knew we'd had to get to Cameron, and it's hard to get. Like the other two we could get to a little bit and try and rattle them, but Cameron was, in a lot of our views, was ungettable type of thing. He was hard to find, and the only way we can make him do or sort of rattle him a little bit is make him do a heap of work. And we were lucky enough on grand final day. I think Jack Bird ran at him, Valentine Holmes ran at him, so 9 or 10 times in the first half. And I think it did take a little bit out of him, making 71 tackles. Fletch wouldn't have made that in a year.
No,
I didn't make it in a career, let alone a year. And Jack Bird, of course, how's he going, Flano? You got back with him?
Yeah, he's going good. We've moved him to the centres. He'll predominantly play most of his footy this year in the centres. He could play a little bit of 5'8" if we have an injury or form, but that's where he'll play most of his footy at right centre. He's done a really good job. Lost a bit of weight again and put on some muscle. So I'm looking for a really good season this year. At the back end of last year, he had knee problems with his arthritis. He's got that disease that he needs to have medication, his whole life. So it's one of those things that he needs to keep on top of. And it sort of got out of hand at the back end of last year. And he's on top of it again this year. And he's fit, healthy and strong.
Flano, fullback. So there's so-called experts out there. A couple of years ago, we're asking to put Zachy Lomax back at fullback. You got young Sloan.
Yep.
Where do you think Sloan's best position is?
Oh, Sloan's a fullback, down and out. That's his best position. He's so fast and, out the back of shape. There's not too many players. You got the Reece Walsh. I'm not saying he's in that category, but he'd be up there with speed. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can just beat that third or fourth defender coming across. If he gets one-on-one with the back row, good luck there trying to stop him. And that's what they're trying to do with, Reece Walsh and these blokes out the back of shape. So, he's got some areas to work on defensively, but he's done a really good job. He broke his thumb in the Indigenous game, so he sort of put us back a little bit. But he's worked really hard defensively. He knows what his weaknesses are and where we've addressed them. We address them every training session at some point, and I think he's bought into it. He's not a soft kid, and doesn't like contact, so we just got to get him to be good at it now. So he's not shying away from it. He's just never good at it. He's always come through his junior footy being this attacking player that let him score one, Flano. I'm going to score two type of attitude, and that doesn't work in the NRL. So we've just got to change his attitude towards defence, and he's not shying away from it. He's doing a good job, and so hopefully we see some real improvement in that area. And if we do, we're going to have a really good fullback for a long period of time.
His anticipation as good as Blacklock Merritt. He'll one day be the top try scorer one year. Flano, thanks for taking time out of your day. We know that you're still coaching for the rest of the afternoon, but we appreciate you joining the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
No, it's been a pleasure, boys, and Dragons are going to have a good year without a doubt.
Oh, I think so. Thanks, on the back of that, Flano, for sure. There's lots of texts coming in saying exactly that, Flano. All the best with that. That wraps up the show, Brian.
Yes, great. I've got to go do some tap washes.
Yeah.
Flano, what do you charge for tap washers?
Mate, they charge about $100 to get now these days. Seriously, it's ridiculous. To get a plumber to knock on your door, it's $120 minimum.
All day. Correct. I did my own down.
Sorry, where you live, $220.
Yeah, well, that's why there's all these plumbers coming in there. All right, I've got to go.
Cheers, Flano. Well, there you go.